Hi, I'd like to extend a heartfelt request to you. It appears that a significant portion of our audience, perhaps even including you, haven't yet pressed that all-important follow or subscribe button available on your preferred listening platform. So here's my pledge to you. If you take a moment to subscribe, I commit to dedicating myself now and always to continually elevate the quality of the show. I vow to pour my energy and passion into crafting episodes that are not only better, but also rich with insights that can genuinely assist those who are seeking this knowledge. Your subscription is more than just a click. It's a catalyst that enables the growth and evolution of this podcast. It empowers us to enhance our production capabilities and to enrich the content we deliver to you, providing quality information that will help you and also provide you with a diverse range of guests. I cannot emphasize enough how crucial your support is. It's the driving force that propels this show to greater heights, making it increasingly beneficial for a wider audience. Thank you for considering this request. Together, we can make this podcast a beacon of inspiration and information. Hi, and welcome to the Diary of an HR and Career Coach, the podcast providing you with the right strategy to find your dream job and career, and even a side business to help you get by. I also speak about career growth, creating dynamic personal brands, and anything that will get you front and center where it matters. I'm your host, Bryce. Let's get started. So we continue from where we left off last fortnight. If you remember, I spoke about how to use personal branding in finding a job. Today, we're going to look at how to use personal branding in your existing job so that you can climb at a much faster pace. Now, while I was working in a number of companies, I've noticed some people who climb much faster than others. And so I asked myself this question: what are they doing differently? And in 90% of the cases, it was their personal branding that actually helped them move forward. Now, I'm not negating the fact that these people did do a lot of good work, but there was something that gave them that additional boost, and that additional boost was their personal brand. Now, I remember one guy in particular. He was not even 30 years old before he reached a head of department level. Now, when I looked at his case, I realized a number of things that actually catapulted him. Of course, he was good at what he did, but so were others. But he knew exactly how to maneuver himself. Okay, and that is what I'm going to talk about today, is personal branding in your career and how it can actually catapult you within not your company only, but also within the industry that you are in. So, as always, there are timestamps for each section that can be found in the show notes. Okay, whether you're watching this on YouTube or whether you're listening to this on Apple Podcast, on Deezer, on iHeart, wherever you may be listening to this episode, there will be timestamps found below in the show notes. Of course, I do want to mention that apart from the podcast, I am also launching a number of videos every week on my social media platforms, including YouTube. Please make sure that you subscribe, okay, because there's a lot of valuable information that I give throughout the week. So please do subscribe and click on that alert button so that you know when a new video is launched. So let's get into it. So today we will be covering 3 sections. The first section, of course, is the career growth advice. And as I mentioned, I will be speaking about personal branding in career growth and how it will help you grow at a much faster pace than you would normally do. The second, of course, we'll be talking about the job markets. And the third and last one is future proofing your job. Okay, so let's get started. Now, I do want to speak about. What I want to do is I want to do a quick recap of what personal branding is and why is it important. Now, last week I did mention, okay, that personal branding is the practice of marketing oneself and one's career as a brand. So you are a brand, just like Coke is a brand. You are going to build your brand. Now, personal branding, of course, involves using your name on various platforms as social media and other presence, whether you're doing it offline or online. Now, it's about crafting a distinct identity and a clear value proposition that you will consistently communicate across all these channels to your target audience so they know that this person stands for whatever it is. And as I mentioned earlier, this not only will help you, grow within your organization, but it will also attract opportunities. Now, why is personal branding important? In this case, it's going to help you climb the corporate ladder at a very fast rate. So let's look at that. So, personal branding in growing your career. Now, if you missed last week's episode, I would recommend that you go back and look at the part which is mentioned unique value proposition. Again, you'll find this in the show notes, but it is really important to know what your UVP is. Okay, now that is technically your foundation on which your personal brand will be built on. How personal branding helps in your career growth? Let's take a look at that. The first one is that it establishes credibility. You see, a strong personal brand showcases your expertise in your specific field. Now, when you consistently share your knowledge, whether you're doing it as content, as video, whether you're doing this through articles, whether you're continuously posting on social media, or you're doing public speaking, it shows that you are a thought leader in your area. Now, this credibility will eventually open doors, not only within your organization, but also outside your organization. It will open up doors for you to collaborate with people within your industry. It will showcase your knowledge. And when people talk about a specific area, your name will be mentioned in every place possible, whether it's in marketing and you have been personal branding yourself as a marketing expert, your name will fly around. That's the first thing, is it establishes credibility. The second one, it differentiates you from the crowd. Now, in a very competitive job market, okay, having your unique taste, your unique brand, okay, can set you apart from everybody else. Now, this highlights what I was talking about, your unique value proposition, making you more memorable to not only your employer, but also those people outside your company and within your industry. Now, the third thing, it expands your network. You see, by having a strong personal brand, it's going to attract industry professionals. Okay, and it's going to lead to new networking opportunities. It's going to make you rub shoulders with the giants within your industry. Okay, and obviously, these are people who are recognized. And if you are in that same circle, you automatically get recognized as well as one of those thought leaders. The fourth one, it attracts opportunities. So a strong personal brand can lead to invitations of speaking engagements, collaborations. It can even offer you jobs. Now, companies and event organizers are more likely to approach individuals who have established themselves as experts in their field. Number 5, How can you strengthen your personal brand that leads to career growth? This is also important for new jobs. It's also important for those people who are running a business. But these are the things that you should do in order to build your brand. The first one is to have a strong LinkedIn profile. Professionals who optimize their LinkedIn profiles with detailed work experience, recommendations, and regular content sharing, which is extremely important, will always attract recruiters and job offers. But not only that, it's also going to bring attention to you, attention from within your organization. When senior management sees that you are active, okay, they know that they have a gem in their arsenal, an expert that they need and cannot afford to lose. And that is why you will see such people climb at a much faster rate than others, because they are considered to be the key employees of that organization. Sometimes they call them the vital few. So you will be one of the vital few who will be critical for your organization. Them losing you means them going backwards a couple of years. That is what gives you the power. Number two, personal blogs. Now, many professionals start blogs to share their expertise. And why they do this is for a number of reasons. Number one, they feel that they're giving back. They feel that whatever information they're sharing is going to help the future generation. It will also help others within the industry. So that is basically their digital footprint. Now, why is this important? I mentioned earlier, and I keep on mentioning this over and over again, the more your online presence exists, when someone does a Google search on you, you will pop up in each and every search, okay, starting from the first page all the way to the bottom. And that is extremely important if you want to achieve your dreams. Number three, public speaking. Professionals who speak at conferences or webinars establish themselves as experts in that field. Now, this visibility will lead you to a whole bunch of collaborations, a whole bunch of things apart from your job. And the fourth one, social media presence. Now, professionals who actively share and engage with content related to their industry or on platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and so forth can grow their network and attract opportunities. Being on social media doesn't mean that you need to be posting everything. Okay, you should be targeted. You should be focused on your strength or your core areas, your UVP. If you know what your unique value proposition is, you need to reflect all of that in your social media. Okay, for example, you say that you are a tech-savvy marketeer, then your social media needs to reflect that. You need to show stuff like how to use artificial intelligence while marketing. Or you need to show stuff like how to use Chat GPT in your social media calendar. I'm just giving an example, right? So what you need to do is you need to reflect what you're talking about. If your UVP states a certain thing, your personal brand needs to reflect it. Your social media post needs to reflect it. And that is extremely important. In fact, I'm going to read something here. A Northeastern University study stated that a personal brand is one story that plays a crucial role in career advancement. It is specified that an impressive 85% of hiring managers reported that a candidate's personal brand influenced their hiring decisions for internal and external employees. So by understanding, developing, and leveraging your personal brand, you can open doors to opportunities that might not otherwise existed for you or would have remained closed if you were within an organization. 85% of hiring managers made decisions on someone's personal brand. So for those people who keep on throwing resumes out, throwing out CVs, thinking that they're going to get called for an interview, It's not going to happen. I keep on pointing this out time and time again that personal branding is extremely important. And why is because hiring managers have taken this as their main source when it comes to hiring someone. So, as I said, personal branding is extremely important. But this all sounds good. But always remember your personal brand, in order for it to work, you need to remember that first of all, you need to be authentic. Authenticity is the key. Okay. You have to be genuine in everything you do, in your interactions, in your communications. Without authenticity, you cannot build trust. You cannot build credibility. So that's the first one. The second one, first impressions count. I've mentioned this earlier as well, that ensure that your online presence, especially on platforms like LinkedIn, is polished and professional. Okay, because it's the first impressions that count. If you need to make a website, make sure it reflects professionalism. All right, we all like to take shortcuts. Okay, get a good web designer. Okay, make sure that they build it for you. Even when it comes to LinkedIn, I keep on seeing people copy, paste what is in their resume onto their LinkedIn profile. That's not the way to do it, because a LinkedIn profile is your sales pitch at the end of the day. And yes, I agree, a resume is also the same thing, but they both work very differently. And I would always advise you to get a professional to build your LinkedIn profile for you. The third one, consistency is crucial. You need to maintain a consistent image. Your image should not change from year to year. So when I say this, what do I mean? Now, when I say image, I'm not talking about physical image. I'm talking about what you talk about. Is it consistent? Or are you, uh, are you confusing your audience? All right. Are you contradicting what you tend to say? Because you may say something one day and you may say something else another day. So your image needs to be consistent. Your message across all your platforms has to be consistent. Okay. This helps in reinforcing who you are, what you stand for. Because without that, it goes back to that first point. How authentic are you? The fourth point, personal branding is a continuous process. And I see a lot of people who go like, oh, I've done so and so, now I can chill. No. Personal branding, building your brand, doesn't happen in a day. Okay, at times it takes years. Now, I'm not saying, and this is in no way trying to scare you, but some people build brands in no time. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is this, is that you need to put it in your head that this is a consistent journey. It is a continuous journey. It is not going to happen in one day. Number 5, content is king. Okay, I've spoken about this previously, and there will be a video which I'll make on how to collect content that is not yours and how to automatically post this on different platforms so that you start to look like a pro. You see, it's not just about looking like a pro. You are passing on information that you believe is crucial for others. You may have come across a really nice article. Let's say you're a marketing expert, and you want to talk about artificial intelligence in marketing. You came across an amazing article, share it with people. Share it with those aspiring marketing professionals who want to hear or want information like this. You're helping them. You see, this game that we say, content is king and I'm the creator of content. It's about sharing. It's not about, you trying to show that you have got all the knowledge. You are basically building a community that you need to care for, a community that follows you because they know. In this example, Okay. When it comes to marketing, you you are the best person to follow because you are up to date. You are sharing others' information that is up to date, and they can learn so much from you. If you do that, trust me, things will start working out for you, whether it's in a job, whether it's in your business that you want to start up, whatever it may be. You will build a community of people who will do anything for you. Okay. Number six, okay, know your audience. Understand who you're communicating with. When you're building your UVP, there is a question there. Who are you appealing to? What are their pain points? That is basically what you're trying to get at, is to know your audience. Because when you know your audience and when you talk about things that they want to hear, automatically you will grow. The next one, storytelling is powerful. Share your journey, your experiences. Stories are relatable. We remember things because we heard a story about it. How do you think most traditions have been passed on from generation to generation? It's because of stories. So, storytelling is extremely important. Make sure you incorporate this into your social media, into your other platforms, whatever you're using, whether you're speaking on a stage, tell them your story. Okay. Keep learning. That's point number 8, is keep learning. Stay up to date, latest trends in your industry, etc. You should be knowing this. As I said earlier, if you can pass on the latest trends, people will follow you, people will respect you. And not only that, people within your organization will see that you are the expert that you keep on claiming to be. People in your industry will say that, hey, this guy knows a lot. Why not hire him or hire her? So that is point number 8. Point number 9, network. Build and nurture relationships. Networking can open not only opportunities outside the organization, but within the organization as well. If you network, okay, within your organization, and I remember in the beginning I mentioned about this one guy who I saw grow. He was extremely good at networking. Like, when you at mid-level, you hesitate to go up to upper management and talk with them. This guy was really good at what he did, and so he grew faster than anybody else. So network. And the last one, give back. As I said, when you are running your own blog or whatever, or whether you're making videos that you're putting on YouTube or anything for that matter, share your knowledge. Don't keep it to yourself. Because we have this very dirty habit that, I'll keep whatever information I can. Maybe I'll sell it to someone. Maybe I'll start a product. Maybe I'll do whatever. Give. Trust me. Give. It doesn't matter. Even if you give whatever you will have in your product, ultimately people will still come to you. Also mentor. As a senior person, if you are growing, there are going to be a lot of junior people who will want to have or want help in the sort of knowledge that you have. Start sharing that with them. Giving back not only enhances your brand, but it also places a very positive impact on others that will ultimately come and help you. So this is the first part. Let's talk about the second one. And this is the job markets as of August. What I've done is I've taken the job markets and what have happened within the job markets from end of August to mid of October. So let's start with the first one, Farmers Insurance. The number of employees that they laid off was 11% of their headcount, which was 2,400 employees in August of 2003. Farmers Insurance is an insurance company, as the name goes by it. Tyson Foods was next. Number of employees that they laid off was 4,600. They are a consumer products organization, and all of this happened in August of 2003. Wilco. Okay, they are a retail organization. They laid off 1,300 employees. It is a British household goods company. The next one is Samsung Electronics. Now, Samsung's a huge name. They've been doing relatively well. However, on September 15th, they announced that the company would reduce the headcount by 10,000 jobs. And this would be a global thing and not specifically to South Korea. The next that followed was Air France and KLM, which announced on September 20th that they had to cut 8,500 jobs. This mainly happened because of COVID and how it's impacted the aviation industry. Then is HSBC Holdings. Effective September 25th, they announced to lay off 5,000 employees globally. General Motors followed thereafter. On 30th September, they mentioned that they would be cutting 4,000 jobs in North America. LinkedIn was next, laying off 668 employees in October of 2023. Qualcomm, again, a technology company focused on semiconductors. They have laid off 1,260 employees, which is 2.5% of their workforce in October. Hopper, which is a tourism and hospitality company, laid off 30% of their workforce in October 2023. I mentioned earlier General Motors, but this is General Motors and Ford. Number of employees that they laid off was 900. This happened in October of 2023. So this is in addition to the previous one, which I mentioned earlier. Pushkin Industries, they laid off 30% of their workforce. They're a media and entertainment company. This happened in September 2023. Apart from that, we have Epic Games. Number of employees that they laid off was 830, September 2023. Deloitte UK laid off 800 employees, 3% of their employee base out of the UK. Okay, this happened in September 2023. Apart from that, we had Goodyear, which laid off 1,200 employees in September 2023. In fact, they had downsized, if you remember in the last episode, they had downsized, I think, if I remember correctly, about 900 odd employees previously. This is a second round just happening a couple of months later. So that is your dynamics that are currently existing at this point in time. Now, the last part which I want to touch upon is, of course, future proofing. And I came across a really interesting article that came out of a very famous website, an HR website called Job Test. Now, the 5 industries in this article that they specify would be affected by artificial intelligence in the next 5 years are the following. The first one is transportation. We could see a huge number of ride-sharing apps like Uber, like Careem, like Ride, there's a whole bunch of like Lyft. There are a whole bunch of companies, including delivery companies like Uber Eats, etc., could end up removing a lot of their human drivers and instead moving more towards autonomous vehicles. Now, having said that, in this article, there was something that was very, very scary in North America. So I'm counting Canada and the US here. The trucking industry is a huge industry that is worth more than $800 billion US, and it employs over 3.5 million drivers. And, if trucks are automated, okay, we could end up seeing a huge number of truck drivers, losing their jobs because of this. And we're seeing it with Tesla's Cybertruck, for example. So that is one area that could be affected over the next 5 to 10 years. Then comes finance. A lot of, fintech companies pushing their platforms which slowly took over a lot of junior financial roles. Um, and unfortunately, this is one sector that is probably going to be affected the most, because this article, they mentioned that a lot of businesses lose an estimated $3.1 trillion per year because of human error when it comes to calculations and so forth. So this is one area that could be affected. Another one is healthcare. Uh, although we know that, although we don't see any robotic doctors at this point in time, but it's clear to see that slowly they will be used in delicate surgeries. And that is something that is scary. It is already taking place, especially when it comes to neurosurgeries and so forth. Now, you know, there's still many studies, however, that indicate that AI can perform tasks such as diagnosis and treatment suggestions, but won't go to the extent when it comes to the human interaction part. Because when it comes to visiting a doctor and getting a diagnosis, I think we are still very happy receiving it from a human being than actually receiving it from a robot or some sort of artificial intelligence. The fourth area that they mention is analyst. And we've been seeing that artificial intelligence is much better with handling data than a human being is. And with time, you could see, a lot of data-driven jobs, being handed over to applications and software which is using artificial intelligence to do this instead. Now, the fifth one is law. Now, a very comprehensive report was actually published by Goldman Sachs. So this Goldman Sachs report actually estimated that a whopping 44% of all legal tasks in the US could be performed by the current artificial intelligence, which is not exactly very, very clever. Now, this would include duties such as research, legal briefs, paper filing, and so forth. So this may drastically reduce the need for legal professionals across the industry. Now, although this may affect clerical staff or administrative staff in this nature, but when it comes to skilled speakers, those who have courtroom prowess, it's very unlikely that AI would be taking these positions. If you are a lawyer that is a specialist in certain areas, the chances of you being replaced by AI is very low at this point in time. In fact, a very interesting thing is that lawyers who are specializing in AI-related legislation, they have actually seen a boom in their business. So these are the areas that could be affected. But then comes the question, how can you future-proof these skill sets? The first thing that we need to know is that emotional intelligence is something that we have and AI doesn't. So if you can focus on careers which are more emotional, where emotional intelligence is required, such as counselors, public relations managers, therapists, etc. These are just some examples. Your chances of getting affected by artificial intelligence decreases. Now, just note one thing, is that a lot of our jobs are transferable. We have transferable skills that can be pushed into these directions, which means that we just require a little more work from our side in order to move into such positions. Now, another thing is conflict resolution. Now, computers cannot do that, right? We are experts with when it comes to conflict resolutions. We understand human psyche. So this is another thing that you should focus on. Another area that you can focus on is creativity. At this point in time, yes, we see a lot of stuff when it comes to music and even art, that's being developed by AI. But I still believe that it's still a long way off. Okay, that human touch is what is missing when it comes to creativity, when it comes to arts, when it comes to music, and so forth. Another area is big picture thinking. Now, the human brain has always been considered to be the most powerful computer out there. And yes, a lot of people will argue, but oh, look at, artificial intelligence and how it picks up information. You see, it's picking up information from what it has at hand. It cannot think on its own. It cannot take it cannot take a step back and analyze things. It can only give you what it knows at this point in time. Okay, yes, in future things will change. I know it will change. But right now, these are just large language models. Meaning what has happened is that you have a software that goes online, collects all the information it has, and uses that information to take things forward. But you see, with development, etc., maybe some of that information will help, but it's critical thinking that is needed. Okay, which right now the computer can't do. It's us. Okay, it's the human being that can do it. So that's one area that we can focus on. So you need to now. I'm sure apart from this, there are other skills that you can focus on. And I released a video a couple of months back in which I showed, and if you haven't seen this video, please go across to YouTube. It's also on my other social platforms as well. You'll find it on Instagram, TikTok, etc. So this video shows that artificial intelligence can actually help us to future-proof ourselves. So I've written a prompt that will actually ask ChatGPT to give you options considering what your existing skills are. According to those skills, it will tell you which jobs you can focus on and so forth, which areas you should use to strengthen your job. So that is something that I would advise you to actually check out. So that is it for this week. A very quick recap. Once again, use personal branding for your career to grow much faster. This is extremely important. And if you haven't seen the last episode, do go over there because there's a lot of gems that you could use when it comes to even your career. And I would also humbly request all of you to subscribe, to leave a review, to share this podcast with someone you know needs it. So that's it for this week. I'll be seeing you in another fortnight. I hope you found today's podcast of some help. Once again, thank you for listening. Until next fortnight, I'm Bryce Barrows, and you've been listening to the Diary of an HR and Career Coach. Keep reaching for the stars and stay unstoppable. Bye for now.